Welcome to this video. In this video, I'll demonstrate how multi-parish works. So I'll create a parish, and all just as medium customers and just as large customers can create a parish in their organization. So within a single church desk organization, you can have multiple parishes. And you go to church desk settings where you have parish and resources. And you can see in this organization, there's already created 4 parishes. And you create a new parish by clicking Parish, and we'll create St. Paul's, and we'll give it a location name, St. Paul's Church. And I actually don't know the address of St. Paul's, so we'll just call it 1 St. Paul's Street. And I'll give it a postal code. And again, I don't remember postal codes in London, so I've given it a fake postal code. And I'll click Save. Now you can see that I've created an additional parish in this organization. You can also see that you can create resources as you can do normally. The only difference is now you can attach a resource to a parish. So every time you book the resource, the event is automatically registered to that parish. One of the smart things about Multi-Parish is it allows you to have multiple parishes with their own data to work together across a single organization. That allows you to have centralized work that is done across the parishes and also have work that happens locally in the parishes. So as part of the Multi-Parish release, we've made roles and access. Roles and access allows you to create users that have access to the parish data, and therefore they only access to the data that they would need to carry out their role. We have organization roles that goes across and allows you to manage the settings of the organization, and then you have some parish roles. And I'll show you how you can create a user and assign it to a parish. So you can see in this user list, you have John Nilsson. He's within the clergy, so he has the clergy role, and he has that in 2 parishes. A user, by the way, can have multiple roles in a parish and across the organization. So let's go ahead and create a new user. And we'll go and create Karina Smith. And that person has K is at +1 at church desk. That allows me to create a multiple email. And I can say that this person belongs to the staff. And then here I decide what role this person should have. So this person could be in the administration team, and I can define in which parish they are in the administration team. So let's say this is a person that works across all of the parishes with administration. I'll go ahead and do that. And this person might also just need to access the finance tools and does that across all of the parishes. Go ahead and allow for that. If you only have one parish in the organization, you simply enable and disable the role. And then we create the user by sending an invite. This way, we've ensured that the new user only has access to the data that they would need to carry out their role. And I'll show you how it works in the system, how you can actually see that the data is split up into parishes. The first place I'll like to show that is the calendar. And the calendar is shared across the organization. So if you're only a member of Dunblane, you can see the Dunblane here, but you can also see the other calendars. And then it's actually the event settings that allows that defines who can see what. And this enables obviously collaboration across the parishes and allows the individual user to sort of maintain an overview that is simple if they only need to see activities in Dunblane and St. John's in their own calendar. However, if you work in the administration team, you can click Select All and get the full overview. The computer is running slowly as I'm doing a screen share and video recording. And so basically now you can see there's a full calendar with lots of activities across all of the parishes. Another benefit is obviously you can book users and rooms across the entire organization. You can also create rota schemes based on the parish and naturally as well for the benefice. So here I have intercessors rota for Dunblane, and here I have a vicar rota for the benefice. So basically we have all of the rotas for vicars across the entire organization, and I can see obviously a lot of vicars are missing, and it allows me to do planning across all of the parishes for Sunday services. Second, I'll show you how it works in our contact system. So let's go there. The user I have here is one that has access to all of the parishes within this organization. So the first view is actually to show what parishes there are. So in Dunblane, there are 280 contacts, St. John's there are 19, St. Margaret 60, and none in the one that we just created. A contact can belong to one or more parishes. It's not uncommon that someone attends multiple places. Then you have your lists, and your list is essentially the lists that are relevant based on the churches that you are a member of, for instance, as clergy. And again, I'm available to all of the parishes in the role that I serve, and therefore I can see all the lists across all parishes. I'll show you how to create a list and how it's actually tied to the parish. So when you create a list now, and you are multiple parishes, you'll have to select what contacts this list applies to, whether it's across all contacts, across all parishes, or if it's just to a single parish. So I'll go ahead and create a list that's relevant to all parishes. Let's create a newsletter list. So I essentially just say, for this purpose, is email is registered, and click Save List because this is all of the contacts that are relevant for this newsletter. Let's just assume that I have a consent for everybody. But in this context, I've not created consent just yet. So I'll create this list and say newsletter list benefits. So the people who you have helping with the communication uh, have the option to work across parishes if you allow them to, or if not, then you simply specify that they have a communications role in a parish. So I'll go ahead and close that. And now you can see that I have birthday tomorrow list, I have concert news, St. Margaret's, and the one that I've just created newsletter list. Incidentally, that's similar to family news. So this list contains all of the contacts across all of the parishes that match the criteria that I've defined for this list. I can see that that's 384 contacts out of 388. So there's 4 contacts we don't have email on. And similarly, I can see concert news for St. Margaret's. In this list, it is 60 of the contacts out of the total contacts of 388 that fits the criteria. I'll show you how to create messages with Multi-Parish. So each message actually gets assigned to a parish. And if a message is assigned to the parish you have access to, you can see that list here or that message here. You can, when there are many messages, you have an option to filter the messages so you can see specifically, I only want to see messages that are shared with St. Margaret's. So I've clicked St. Margaret's here. And so let me create a newsletter. In this case, I'll send a family news to the benefice. And because it's to the benefice, it's actually shared with all of the parishes. I go ahead and click select all. And I can send later for obviously sending letter purposes. There needs to be a title, which I just forgot. So I'll say family news, March and April. Not a fantastic headline for conversion purposes, but for this example, it will do. So now content is saved, and I'll click send. In this case now, I'll just click send now, but I think you get the message. So the message is sent now to this list across the entire benefice, and it's shared with everyone who works and has access to people across the parishes. Pastoral notes is shared across the benefice, but can only be read by the author, so there's no change here. Lists, as mentioned, you can see the lists that you have access to based on the filter criteria that is used. Tags apply across the entire organization. The same does custom fields and the same does consents. I'll go ahead and show you how forms work here in Multi-Parish. So similarly for messages, a form can be associated with one or more parishes. In this case, Tutler Praise in St. Margaret's and John's is associated with the parishes St. John's and St. Margaret's. You can also create confirmation registration, for instance, for a parish exclusively. So the user would need to have access to forms and this particular parish to be able to see this form. And that also means that if you're a user who has not access to this parish, you will not be able to see the form. So let's just see if you only had access to St. Paul's, how that would look like. So as a user who has access to forms, and St. Paul's can only see the forms that are shared with St. Peter's. All contacts that are registered on a form with the parish registered, and that is a mandatory field, will be created belonging to that parish. So if you have multiple parishes, the contacts will be associated with multiple parishes. The payments actually work in the identical fashion. You can create a payment project or a donation project, and that can be associated with one or more parishes. Any contact that's created through the payment will be registered to the specified parishes. The homepage is shared with all of the parishes, so it's one homepage for the entire organization. That is obviously less maintenance work across all of the parishes. You have a shared effort in terms of creating outreach to parishioners and engaging more people in the parish. That's how it works. Thanks.